Roman gladiators were chosen for their might and their strength. They were put on display to fight, often to the death, for the enjoyment of great audiences. The audience would cheer and marvel at the strength of the bloody warriors. These fights would be the conversation of the town. This bloodshed would be the entertainment. Strong, muscular, trained bodies sprawled across the ground in defeat. But the most valuable part of the gladiator was their mind. The ability to mentally ground down into the arduous training that got them there. The aptitude to remember the movement. The inner conviction to continue. This mental grounding creates the actions of resilience. It's what makes wounded warriors so profoundly iconic. How did you stand through that? Who are you before, during, and after the fight? If resilience describes you, then championing life is a matter of mental conviction. Hi, my name is Chrisette Michelle. I'm a Grammy Award-winning #1 Billboard chart-topping platinum-selling recording artist. 7 years ago, I sang with a gospel artist, Travis Green, on a stage before thousands of Republicans who voted for Donald Trump. Like many of you, I didn't vote for him. Like many of you, I felt the collective break in the country's heart and the hearts of millions. So I decided to sing a song I thought could heal. The song written by Travis Green was called Intentional. He took the first verse, I took the second. Instead of healing, there was a media onslaught of hate. Somehow Travis's music shot up the charts, but I was deemed canceled by the loudest voices of social media. While I despise talking about the cultural phenomenon that is cancel culture, I still to this day can't get through an interview without being asked about it. So, I decided to take this opportunity to share my thoughts on the matter once and for all. When you've experienced cancellation from a community of people, you expect yourself to find bitterness, shame, feelings of rejection and abandonment. But for some reason, those feelings fade quicker than you imagine, and the same love that lived in you before the rip still exists. Why am I like that? I remember when my black card was first revoked. I looked down at my black arm, which was still very much brown, and I thought to myself, oh man, this is going to be difficult. I'm still black. For starters, you can't cancel a human being. It's virtually impossible. Well, actually, it's only possible in virtual reality or the world of social media. You can scroll past the post, leave a nasty comment, or unfollow a person, but that doesn't make them disappear in real life. They're still around somewhere grocery shopping, frying mushrooms, and making avocado toast. I found it so interesting during my cancel sentence how many people were shocked to see me at shopping malls, heading out to the movies, and purchasing my favorite weave at my favorite hair salons. We silence people on social media and think they lose their will, their purpose. Thing is, we don't give people their purpose. We don't instill a spirit into a human vessel, breathe air into their lungs, shower them with gifts, and then send them to the planets. That's above our pay grade. All we get to do with people is be another person. I understand cancel culture, I do. It's the thought that if an idea ruffles the feathers of a community, we must annihilate anything and anyone associated with it. We adopt 5 or 6 people to assign the community rules, and anyone who goes outside of the guidelines is canceled. But what are we really doing to the person? Simply leaving them out of the conversation? We certainly aren't sharing our heart with them, and we positively aren't hearing theirs. And those 5 or 6 bully leaders, how do we choose them? Are they the smartest or the loudest? Love is this thing that overflows past the nuances and differences of what make us each unique. Without love, flaws would be a reason for war. Style differences would be a reason to fight. Eclectic taste would be a reason to close doors. And disagreements would be a reason to walk away. We can't all think the same thing. As exciting as that would be, it's impossible. Social media helps us feel like we think the same thoughts as many. We call these niches like-minded communities. But put your phone down underneath your bed for 3 days and see how many identical choices you've made with your like-minded community. Chances are your brains aren't actual duplicates. Unfortunately, we all have different ideas of how things should and can work. We all have faith for different outcomes based on different efforts. That scares some of us. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to know that we're all connected by the screens we carry in our pockets. This way, nobody will make a choice without checking in first. Why do you think people get so much anxiety when they lose their phone for 5 minutes? Nobody wants to make a choice outside of the pack. That's cause for rejection or a loss of connection. Cancel culture. The problem is we bully our way into convincing one another to agree with us and spend absolutely no time in conversation. Bullies use force, volume, and the threat of shame as intimidation. Instead of a personal call, they gather crowds to humiliate. Instead of speaking one-to-one, they shout and project their fear to seem bigger than they are. I can't tell you how many celebrities had my phone number but tweeted about me instead. You could have called. By the time bullies are done, anybody with a different idea feels small and inadequate, so they cower down and click the like button. Because of the noise, glamour, and targeted niche precision of social media, we save our thoughts for small circles and the tiny groups we see in actual reality. Maybe it's safer to speak there. Cancel culture begins at social media, but it's not solidified there. That's just the beginning. The issue is, mass media amplifies the voices of bullies, and the bullies' narratives become the status quo thought that represent entire communities. Who creates the community narrative? Does it really represent you? Cancel culture thrives on bullies being loud enough to garner the attention of mass media. When mass media is bullied into cowering to the opinion of a few loud narrators, we cancel the ones who go against the grain as a public silencing of any ideas besides those of the bully. This cancellation from the media bleeds over into big companies and sponsorships. Here's the thing. Media isn't the only place crowds gather and audiences gather. When you're walking in your purpose, no matter what your cancel status is, if you've decided to love people, you will love them at the coffee shop. You're not concerned with size, money, or fame. You will love them during Sunday service. You will love them at the gym. You will love them at the nail salon. Love is what you're grounded in. Like the Roman warrior, it's your mindset, your conviction, your discipline, your anchored capacity, your default setting. Resilience is not so much the ability to bounce back as it is one's ability to hold one's ground. Resilience is the idea that you are always the truth of what you stand on. Love is my anchor. Because I'm resilient, that will never change. Unlike our gladiator friends of yore, there's been no bloodshed and no swords to my heart. I'm safe in my body and in my source. Thank God. I'm not concerned about me, though. I'm concerned about our culture. How we treat ourselves is how we treat each other. Do we cancel our sisters and brothers or sons and daughters by not answering the phone or quickly sending them to their rooms instead of brave conversation? As a culture, what does the art of communication look like? I know it's intimidating. But we must create a culture of speaking, digesting, and participating in other thoughts besides our own. We can't keep dismissing each other as a cultural norm. We will be isolated and without community. Can you imagine that? A world without community? I can. You cannot cancel the spirit of a human being that God created. That was the most eye-opening part of my journey. I'd always thought I had a lot of heart, but this proved it. With all the noise, I still felt called to love. You can't reach everyone called to be loved by me. Everyone I'm meant to touch will be touched, and wherever my love is meant to go, it will. I'll be honest, though. There was a moment where I wondered if I'd lose my voice. I thought maybe I'd lose heart. Maybe I'd lose the desire to spread light, sing songs, write poetry and music, speak. I remember putting my pen to paper in front of my piano and being so frustrated when song after song spilled out of my soul. I couldn't understand how I could find beauty at a time where I should be finding panic, peace when I should have been anxious. Perhaps my personal test in this was to find out that no matter what the world says about me, it takes me knowing what's deep down on the inside, and I have to say it aloud to myself. I got so much music in me, I simply can't contain it. I couldn't be canceled if I wanted to. My existence was spoken by a force greater than the opinion or disagreement of any social media persecutor. I hate that my heart wasn't seen when I sang that fateful song. I will always wonder why Travis wasn't tormented and I was. What about me needed to have the experience of cancellation that everybody else on that stage did not? But what I've learned about the heart of a lover is she doesn't become a hater just because she's hated. She doesn't become a bully just because she's bullied. She doesn't become unkind, lose her peace or her gentleness just because people decide to choose fear. The heart of a lover serves wherever there is room to serve. That's who I've always been. That's who I'll always be. There's a spirit that lives on the inside of me. I accepted it at 9 years old. You can judge the motives of my heart if you want to. You can stay rigid and ignore who you see standing before you, but you'd be canceling your intellect. You know what I never said aloud? Thank you. I can't tell you how many people DM me secrets, secret prayers, and secret well wishes. I can't tell you how long I stand in meet and greets after my shows because people want to spend FaceTime with me to tell me, you were never canceled in my book. I often wonder why they couldn't post that, why they couldn't comment that. I've asked. As a community, I wish we were just a little more community-oriented. I wish we knew we weren't the only mind in the room. I wish we held more space to hear what someone else had to say. I wish the TV shows led by those with our community banner weren't so divisive. I wish we chose topics that allowed for more inclusive thoughts, ideas, and conversation. Our blackness isn't a monolith. We don't all think the same things. We all express love differently. And we have to admit when some of us aren't expressing love at all. Why do we let each other get away with hate and fear-mongering and silencing one another? Why are we okay with highly rated gossip shows that haven't checked their facts? Wendy Williams, by the way, I did not make $750,000 when I sang for your boy. And also you used the wrong picture on your show. That was me singing for Barack Obama at the White House. You didn't post that. We cackle with bullies and then run off of social media, not realizing how damaging our silence is to the face of our community. The whole world watches as we tear each other down. The few of us who choose the modality of bullying and intimidation, to the world, it looks like all of us. Those few loud, obnoxious, big mouths are seen as us around the world. I hear it when I travel overseas. I say the following words with so much love. In order to love each other, we must love ourselves. We do that by knowing and seeing ourselves. Now, I know many of us are hurting. Inspect that. What are the deep wounds that cause us to express so much hate in our self-expression, so much tearing down in our post? Look within, find what's hurting. Express that sound, and you'll realize you're not alone. That transparency will bring healing, communication, community. That's what purpose feels like. That's love. I've noticed recently that many, if not nearly all of the voices that seem the loudest in my sentencing have made the switch over to love. Congratulations. They've written books and started podcasts about self-love, growth, peace, and inner transformation. I see you. Hate was exhausting them. It weakens the spirit and breaks the soul. Bullies change or fall at some point. I had to laugh about that for a second. I'm sorry. You live in a country that's torn apart by racial injustice, political unrest, mental health crisis, and economic miseducation and uncertainty. You have every right to be tired, depressed, confused, concerned, afraid, scared, and irritable. But find the root of where it comes from and come together to cancel that. Because trying to cancel love, people, and purpose will get you nowhere. Peace.